to Pitt County Planning Board meeting for November. Tab, can you call the roll for us, please?
Faye Barefoot. Here. Brad Goose.
Here.
Ricky Hines.
Here.
Steve Little.
Here.
Tucker Moore.
Here.
Johnny Penner.
Here.
Maria Rogerson.
Here.
And Mr. Chairman, we were notified by David Davenport, R.J. Hemby, and Danny Smith that they will not be here tonight.
Okay, thank you. We will have prayer by Ms. Faye Barefoot and the pledge by Ricky Hines. Please stand, please.
Our Father, thank you for today. Thank you for the many blessings that you bestow upon each one of us. We pray now that you would be in the midst of this meeting tonight, and we pray for each person here, for those that are not with us as well. And thank you again for the blessings of life. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Can you face the flag, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Ms. Faye. Next up is approval of the minutes for our October meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Second motion.
Got a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes for our October meeting. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Next up is administrative, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick note, just to make sure that you are aware, we did take before the commissioners at their early meeting in November to have Maria reappointed to our board. That was successful, and she now has a new term all the way through September 30th of 2021. And then at last night's meeting, the commissioners also, because we had someone you may recall that was appointed that had moved outside of the county, Mr. Don Brown from District B has been appointed. He will get our package hopefully within the next few days, and certainly should be available for your December meeting. So he also will be serving his first term starting next month, and it will run through September 30th of 2021 as well. So you now have a full complement on board members. So I know we were a little bit tight as far as getting a quorum here tonight. We really appreciate you coming out since we had to move the meeting one day earlier. And that, of course, is for our one action item tonight. And I'm going to let Mark come up and lead you through Laurel Oaks phases 3 through 5.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Tonight we just have one development review item. It's Laurel Oaks preliminary plat for phases 3, 4, and 5. So this site is located on Blackjack Simpson Road, just north of its intersection with Betterment Road. It's in the Grimesland Township. It's just over 61 acres, and they've proposed 49 lots right now. Here's an aerial view of the site, kind of give you an idea. You know, it's pretty much 50% woodlands and 50% farmland right now. The portion to the south is phase 1 and 2, and phase 1 is currently under construction. This is the preliminary plat as presented. There might be a slight modification regarding the entrance location off Blackjack Simpson Road, but it does give you a general lot layout. So here's some general site information. There are portions located within the 100-year floodplain. It's in the Village of Simpson zoning jurisdiction, and it's zoned agricultural residential with a minimum 25,000 square foot lot size. The streets are proposed as public, and electricity is going to be provided by GUC and water by Eastern Pines. So now we'll run through some conditions and requirements that were placed on the conditional approval recommendation by the Technical Review Committee. The first one, we'll run through his planning's comments now. Note number 11 in the text box at the top should be revised to address driveway permits for lots 95 through 102. Lot number 69 does not currently meet the minimum lot size requirement. show the site distance triangles as right-of-way on Landon Drive and Blackjack Simpson Road. Place a drainage easement around the pond, which is existing on lots 91 through 94. And note the fire and zoning districts on the final plat. Also identify any existing subsurface drain tiles on the construction plan. The street names have been approved and added to the pending road names list. Drainage outlets must achieve sheet flow before entering riparian buffers. And we request a revised preliminary plat based on these conditions. So now we'll go through Pitt County engineering comments. Note that the hammerheads, which are more or less there for temporary emergency vehicle service, we just want those to be noted that they'll be removed when the barricades on Lyle and Landon are removed. Verify sequential lot numbering with the first and second phases, and show any proposed required turn lane on Blackjack Simpson Road, as well as any non-access easements. GUC Electric add a 15-foot electric easement on the back of the right-of-way along Blackjack Simpson Road. And DOT's comments are as follows. Lot number 82 must be accessed from Landon Drive, and a non-access easement placed along its border with Blackjack Simpson Road. Landon Drive must be aligned with Twin Creeks Road, or sufficient street offset must be achieved. Right now, that street offset in the subdivision ordinance 250 feet, and the developer may not be able to purchase a neighboring property to achieve a direct alignment with Twin Creeks Road. So the proposed driveway on the plat that is submitted may be moved up 250 feet away from that Twin Creeks Road entrance. Plan doesn't show any cluster mailbox locations, but that is provided in phase 1. All proposed water lines should be in the outer 5 foot of the right-of-way, and the connection at Lawson Court and Lyle Drive should be moved outside of any asphalt area. All roads are proposed as public and must meet the NCDOT standards, and Landon Drive will become a main entrance, and a turn lane should be constructed. Eastern Pines will be able to supply water for this subdivision. And environmental health provide the standard comments, not placing any fill on any repair or septic drain fields. Same with stockpiling. And right now they haven't applied for septic permits. Here's some site pictures for you for reference. This first one is looking towards the proposed entrance as is from kind of the vicinity of Twin Creeks Road. And this is looking at Twin Creeks Road kind of from where the proposed entrance is right now. This is a view of the road front lots as part of this phase 3, 4, and 5. Looking south along Blackjack Simpson Road, the road frontage lots are on the right. This is a view from phase 1 that's under construction back towards proposed phases 3, 4, and 5. Adjacent property owners have been notified, and we have not received any responses. The Technical Review Committee did review this plan and recommended conditional approval. The preliminary plat review requires administrative action, meaning that if the requirements of the subdivision ordinance are met, the plat must be approved. So at this time, you can open up for public comments, or I can answer any questions you might have.
Okay. Do anyone have any questions about this plat? Because Landon, do y'all want to speak to it or anything? We can open it up to public.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Okay.
Hines.
All right.
First, thank y'all for coming. I know it's a off-schedule meeting because of holidays coming up, but I appreciate y'all changing up your schedules and getting here for us. I'm here mainly for any questions or comments, if anybody has any. As Mark said, it's an extension to an existing subdivision that we have, and they're nice large lots. We follow all the ordinances And if you have any questions, we're available.
Anybody have any questions for him? So what's the pleasure of the board?
I move we approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
All approved.
Thank you.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, again, that was the only action item for tonight. Just a few informational items, as Eric brought before you last month, starting on page 25 of your agenda package. We just wanted to let you know we're continuing on with our approval by the commissioners of October 15th for the Southwest Bypass Corridor Land Use Plan. So we're moving on into the implementation phase, and with that, we've already contracted with Stewart, our contractor that assisted us in developing the plan. Our next steps or task actually involve working on our zoning ordinance to make sure we're getting the information, the requirements in there that'll help us implement the plan. Specifically, looking at some zoning districts or overlays, in particular the historic district there, the Rinston area. We heard time and again, we want to preserve this area. We want limited development. If it is development, we want to see it more in a conservation mode. So those are some standards that we'll be looking at. We heard loud and clear, especially from A Time for Science down in the very southern portion of the area that was planned for, that they had concerns about lighting, and we certainly want to follow suit. That's a major attraction for bringing people into Pitt County. A lot of activities going on at that particular area. So this is just to advise you that we'll be bringing more information back to you, probably not next month, but in early 2019, to let you know where those regulations will be considered and how they'll actually be put in place. We'll certainly want to get any input from you guys. One other thing, or a couple of other things, we do plan to meet with representatives from the Rinston area just to get further input about some of these conservation areas and making sure we're getting a lot of input from those property owners that will be the main ones that will be impacted. Another item I did want to mention to you, as a result of our land use plan effort for the Southwest Bypass, both the town of Winterville and Ayden are moving forward with the complete update of their land use plans. So that's a good thing. This has brought a lot of activity or notice to this area of the county, and we're glad we're kind of getting everyone to take a closer look at their plans and regulations. So any questions about the Southwest Bypass or the plan? Okay. On to some informational items. The land use plan, or I should say the zoning ordinance amendments that you dealt with last month for Lever and Russell was approved by the commissioners at their meeting last night. Of course, that was one that was within the Southwest Bypass corridor planning area, and the commissioners again agreed to with that rezoning. There was a conditional use permit for residential daycare. Again, changing the hours of operation. That was approved last night. The other item that's included in your package went before the commissioners last night, and it deals with a DOT project, actually two separate ones. This is the term here is betterments. Layman's term, sidewalks are going in along Firetower Road from its intersection at Arlington, all the way out along Firetower Road past 14th Street to Portertown, and then to Portertown all the way out to NC 33. So just remember that whole long segment that's basically a two-lane segment now is being upgraded to a multi-lane facility over the next several years. Good news also for folks that were impacted by Hurricane Matthew. We did get an amendment for our Disaster Recovery Act funding. This put in about $650,000 additional that will help us with our buyout properties. We've got 11 buyout properties. We'll be helping those folks relocate and move to higher ground and safer ground. So We'll be actively moving on this project. The other item, as far as this agreement amendment, it raised the amount of money that we could use for replacement housing, and that was sorely needed. We've got about 5 households in our family, in our 5 families that we are assisting in our county that will be moving into new homes. And without those additional monies, we would not be able to get them relocated. The final thing is the Little Contentnea and Contentnea Creek agreement. You've heard that one before. This is our 3rd time. We hope we've got the contractor that will get the work done this time. So the debris, we had more debris washed out during Hurricane Florence, but just as much brought in. So bottom line is we've got a lot of debris still within that drainage feature, and we hope to get that taken care of over the next several months. And this is just the map showing it's about a 13-mile segment that we'll begin with, starting at the Scuffleton Bridge on 903 and going all the way down to Highland Avenue in Grifton. One other thing, a great addition, we mentioned it last month, but we did have our dedication event on November the 2nd for the Phil Dickerson Courts, and these are located out at our district park, the Alice F. King District Park. Had a large crowd out there. You may recall there was a fairly good-sized donation that was provided by Mr. Dickerson's family, and in turn we've got an outdoor basketball court along with 2 outdoor pickleball courts. And this was the actual ribbon cutting that day. So a lot of activity on that site already. A couple other things in your package, your October monthly report from us, other articles and correspondence is included as well. And as always, if there are any questions or people want to see regulations or land use plans, they're all on our website. So with that, Mr. Chairman, that's all we have for tonight unless you have any questions.
All right. Anybody have any questions on this side? Anybody on this side? I'd just like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Y'all be safe in your travels and enjoy your family. With that, I say the meeting is adjourned.
That's yours.